Hello and welcome to the 2024 Canadian Senior Bouldering Nationals here at the Bloc Shop in Montreal. I'm P. Woods here with Hayden Jones. We are going to bring you all of the semi-final action coming up in about 2 or 3 minutes. Boulders are on the wall, athletes are in isolation. And what's the format going to be? What are we looking at for semifinals? Same always, but remind the people what they're expecting this morning other than just utter chaos.
Yeah, so we're looking at a 5-on, 5-off round. We got 4 boulders for each gender. Should be a good hard round.
Yeah, so 5-on, 5-off is going to start slowly. So we're going to see 2 climbers out. Men and women climbing at the same time. We're going to have 2 climbers out. And then we're going to have 4 climbers out. And then we're going to have 6. And then in the middle of the round, we're going to have 8 climbers. So there'll be someone on every boulder for that 5-minute span. And then as we tail off towards the end of the round, it'll trickle back down to being able to focus on 1 or 2 climbers. Top climbers come out at the end. 20th place qualifiers come out at the beginning. So expect a few surprises. Every now and then, someone qualifies into semifinals a little lower than they should, and they come out and smash boulders. As a route setter, sometimes you get sweaty palms. You're like, oh my God, what if everyone smashes boulders?
The underdogs come out.
The underdogs will come out. We give them that chance. Here's our look at our qualifiers coming out, so you can expect the top of this women's field is, I think, from 10th all the way up has a chance to top a lot of boulders. You never know who's climbing well. I know Brooke White, she's from Alberta, and she's been smashing boulders over this season as well. So people kind of have that. They rise to the occasion. Lucas Uchida at the top of the men's field hasn't climbed in a comp in, I can't remember now how long, but has been absolutely pulling down outside.
Yes, and he did do a few local comps leading up, but I haven't seen him fall in a while now. So.
Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see him. Of course, Sam McNamee's, Seb Lazur, always fun to watch. Sam Tikuvara, even Dylan Safri down there in 16th has a chance to get in there. So we are going to get the action rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, strap in. It's a couple of hours of a lot of rock climbing. We are going to bring you pretty much as much of the action as we can. We're going to focus on boulders. We're going to go out to wide shots. We might split the screen here and there, but what we're going to do is we're just going to have a lot of rock climbing this morning, and we're going to try and get 6 men and 6 women through to the finals, which will be later on today. So right out of the gate, Elliot, Robert, and Sophia Smile on their boulders, number 1. You were saying this women's first boulder, a little bit mean out of the gate.
Yeah. So it's very body positioning and kind of test your ability to step on small footholds. Yeah, so it's not necessarily a kind boulder to have first, but we'll see how they do.
And she is looking good on it. And Elliot also moving through, kind of pushing up into this tension you have. When this wall overhangs a very small amount, enough that it'll kick you backwards, but kind of climbs a little bit like a slab. Elliot, one of the Quebec climbers. Just kind of pushing over. Oh, that is. Yeah, just kind of, yeah, and running out of the ability to shift from right to left. You're kind of going from a secure position into an insecure position. You see how that volume slides away. Sophia now getting back up into the precision of this first women's boulder. The holds are all there. The angles are, again, here. They kind of opens like a book where you see the seam. So it goes from about flat to a little bit overhanging.
Yeah, and then on the right here, you have the wall's about a 5-degree overhang. but but those volumes at the bottom there kind of build it out to kind of create a slab, even though so it's kind of a fake slab on the wall there.
And that's the growth of volume-based route setting allows you to take the gym's existing angles and twist them around a bit and be like, people are like, oh, this is a steep spot, but I've created slab-related footwork.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, with the big volumes nowadays, you can either really embrace that angle that you have there or completely change it up.
And so the climbers, you know the gym, and you're like, oh, I know I'm going to get one boulder on the slab, one boulder in the brick, one boulder in the steep, but then you don't know if how it's going to climb. So you can prepare, of course, for your round, but without seeing the boulders. Of course, this is all on site. They come out, they've never seen these boulders before. 5 minutes to solve the boulder in their mind, and then, of course, climb the boulder. And when you're expecting to come out and climb the slab, and suddenly it's less slabby than you think or more slabby than you think, it can throw you for a bit of a mental loop.
For sure.
So Elliot taking a rest, and Sophia is sometimes you have to make a business decision and realize that you've got your high point. Nope, she's just going to come back on again. You do see some climbers will walk away from a boulder with maybe a minute to go. The rest becomes more important, and you generally do know if you can do a boulder. Sometimes it hurts. Inside you have to be like, I definitely cannot do this boulder because it feels like giving up. But sometimes it's strategically the right thing to do.
Especially in a round like semis where the physicality is turned up that much more.
Yeah, and they know they haven't been punched in the face yet.
No.
Like this is boulder one. It's coming.
It's just the intro.
Yeah. So Sophia now getting into the zone. So we'll get into explaining that to you as we go. Little false drop knee. I like this. Elevator doors, almost. That's a good effort with under a minute to go. And Elliot is thinking about, one more. Has a quick look at the clock. And sometimes, non-physical boulders, people will take right down to the wire. Maybe he is trying to get a zone. So he thinks he can get to the zone in 20 seconds or less. And maybe he can.
Buzzer beaters are always hard on the slab.
Yeah, right? Move quickly, but don't move quickly.
Yeah, take your time, but not too much time.
Oh, the time is going to run out on him. Which brings up an interesting question, Hayden. If I touch the zone hold with my foot, did I get the zone?
You did not. No, it has to be your hand. Yes.
And I think that's one of those things that people see interesting movement on climbs, and occasionally you get a zone that's kind of a false lead. It's like you got to go over and touch the zone, but it's not. You use it as a foothold later, or it's not necessarily part of the required climbing to get there. People are like, oh, I touched it with my foot, I touched the zone. But you need to use the zone in a way that moves you in the right direction of that the boulder is climbing, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So now we have Mathieu Bonneville and Janice Ma getting their first look. So we will see boulders won more often than the rest, especially at the beginning. We want to introduce the climbers to you. Gives it a nice chance to kind of ease into the round. But we will slowly move along, and then, as we said on the intro, it will get pretty wild in the middle, and we're just going to take what we can get. Must have a limb on a piece of tape to start a boulder.
Yes. Yeah.
Dealer's choice, you can put your hands or your feet wherever you like. Exactly. We don't do hands and feet starts anymore, but you have to have the same number of limbs as tape on the start demonstrated hold. Janice making pretty quick work of this. Getting into this out of balance. And then there's nothing on this left hand. There's no jibs in there.
No, it's just a flat edge, so a lot of tension between the shoulders.
And then you want to kind of transition that tension into the feet to at least be able to move out of that.
It's a give and take.
Yeah. Oh, Mathieu turning his shoulders inside out. Just got to tip over, right? That's one of those balance points where you got to get your hips across the center line. It feels wildly uncomfortable until you commit.
Yeah, especially coming out of the kind of the steeper section onto the slab. That's a big tipping point.
And there's how long have you been route setting for now?
Probably about 8 years now.
8 years now.
Yeah,
And you see movement differently as a route setter than you did as a climber, as a competitor?
for sure. Yeah, I understand it a lot better now.
Yeah. And because you have to build the challenge now, and you know the rules, but you're also trying to break them sometimes. You're like, can we push it further? Can we make it like, oh, that's really off balance? I'm like, okay, but it's still doable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the national championship, so the boulders are supposed to be hard. We definitely saw yesterday on the men's round, not a lot of overall tops. Not a lot of people getting 6. I think only Lucas and only Lucas got 6 tops, and on the women's side, only Babette and Sienna got 6 tops, and then it drops off to sort of 3 and 2s down the rest, and that's kind of what you want, right? We're trying to distill a field of 80 to 20, and now we're trying to go 20 to 6.
Yes. Yeah, and we're also, trying to test certain things that we might have later on in rounds to kind of get an idea of where they're at in those certain specific skill sets, so we can make sure that the show is good for later on as well.
Exactly. It's a nuanced game, route setting, where the boulders get set a week ago, but they're not final until you see how people, and sometimes the field collectively is awful at rock climbing.
Yep. Yep.
It just happens.
It could be even to do with what time they start their round at. If it's an early round, you get some sleepy climbers sometimes.
Yes, you do, and it shows.
Yeah.
So Janice taking a very long rest, which is generally a good sign of she thinks she can do the boulder. She wants to give herself the most sort of rest period in that 5 minutes, and then just a slight technical slip. Mathieu also rested quite a bit. Just about a minute left. It's just gotta commit.
This is that tipping point we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and Connor, you want to get your feet a little bit further left, yeah?
Yep.
But it's very difficult to believe.
Okay.
Okay. That's where it is.
He's found.
Oh.
Needs to move his feet a little bit more there.
But you see that the shift of, you would have saw at home, uncomfortable, 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 suddenly quite comfortable, and then has to continue to commit. But you could see his body language go, oh, I'm okay here now.
His shoulders went from inside out to back to normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back into a strong position. So no luck, no zone for Janice and Mathieu, but good effort. Oh, sorry, Janice got a zone, but no top. And don't expect to see a lot of tops yet. Expect to see a lot of effort. We want to see some dark horse, but we are never expecting to see dark horse climbing. All right, so that is going to bring Evan Lau and Michelle Baranzika to boulder number 1, and we get our first look at boulder number 2 with Elliot and Sophia. The steepest part of this gym, almost flat roof exit.
Yes. Yeah. It's a very fun angle. You can have lots of. Typically, you're not just climbing straight up. Your body's twisting around, and we can have a lot of fun with that angle.
Yeah, you have, and you can give them slightly better holds,
Yes.
but then create difficult positions.
Yes.
Oh, committing, but makes it happen on the first try. And then just very nice. You see her getting. I love these big flakes. They're not super positive until you get them in the right position. Sophia just gets open 3 fingers. I love seeing we see so much of the back of their heads that when they turn around, you sometimes get a window into how they're feeling about life in general, and that kind of, that rueful smile of like, okay, that's hard, but it may be fun.
Yeah,
You
having a good
almost,
time doing it,
yeah, I'm like, I'm having a good time against my will.
Yeah.
If this wasn't a competition, I'd love this boulder.
Yeah.
Evan looking quite comfortable to this point. Look at that left heel dropped way down. That's what you want to see. Trying to find a little toe scum. Nice, Sophia on it. Evan getting Trying to find that spot. You see him, that right leg coming up, that counterweight.
It's that tipping point. Yeah.
The starfish happening over here. Trying to find a seam on that volume. That's not the answer. Sometimes trying to outclimb the boulder is harder than just climbing the boulder.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Just do the movement.
Just do the boulder.
Do your job. All right, Michelle, back up. Okay. And they're just, Evan, just having a discussion. I think he's asking if he got the zone. That's going to be my bet.
Yeah.
Did I get the zone? Did I not get the zone? What's your do you think that he made enough movement for that to be the zone? Because it's the whole volume. It's not just the hold on it, correct?
Yeah. No. The tape goes to the whole volume, so it's interesting because his hips went the other way. But if they deem that as like an adjustment to get his feet more to the left, then maybe it'll be interesting to see. Because typically they kind of set the tone for that, and like as the judge, and they kind of call it consistently after that. So we'll see if that counts.
There is still that tiny bit of subjectivity in climbing judging. We've tried over the years, even in the time that you've been climbing, the rules have changed several times. The time that I've been climbing, they've changed 4 or 5 times. They've come back and forth. We're trying to remove places where it can be unfair, but now we still have the, you have to move, but you have to move. Was it enough? Did you use the hold? Did you use the hold? So, I don't think, I wouldn't have given it to him, but I am not a judge, so. And I would say that
I think
now, but does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
Michelle getting, like, you could see her fighting this. You basically created kind of opposing barn doors.
Yeah.
Plenty of time, come on.
And that, you start to pick up on the hallmarks of people who are moving to move and moving confidently. Like you sort of see that, that was close.
Yeah.
But really when you kind of go and really look at it, really good stick. Elliott getting past the opening move for the first time.
It's very impressive. That first hold has no texture on it, too.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Got to turn this over. Whew. Yeah, good effort. Sophia getting through her personal high point. About 30 seconds to go. We're going to get Evan and Michelle for one more.
Need to make some quick work here. Got another 25 seconds left.
And Michelle kind of dead pointing to a little bit of hope maybe. I don't know that was going to work, but when the clock is running down and you're so hyper-focused, it's about 5 seconds now. I don't think that's enough. If he didn't get it the first time, I'm not sure that that's going to do it, but we'll find out. If you want to go, we do live scoring here, so all the judges have iPads. They put the scores in immediately, so it's cec.results.info, and you can get live scoring. So what that's going to, we'll kind of clue you in every now and then, but please pull that up on your phone, on your laptop, and follow along. And then you're gonna, I'm gonna look here out of curiosity, see if Evan got himself a zone. And we get Janice and Mathieu coming out for boulder number 2. Dawson Shepard and Chloe Earl making their semifinal debut here. So my live results say that they did give Evan that zone.
Okay.
On the second try.
Second try. That makes sense.
Ooh, that's powerful. And anything on the back of that hold, Hayden, with her right hand is on?
So there is like a little crimp kind of hiding behind that she has her right hand on right now, but that next one has nothing on it.
So you're like
get
flat
a pinch and flip it. Yeah.
Dawson, woo, perfect. that insecure moment. Checking with the judges, did I get a zone? Yes, I did. As soon as you release any kind of tension on even that volume, it's on a pretty good angle.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's not comfortable yet.
It's those tipping points, because as you're getting closer to it, now you're getting further on the other side of the tipping points. So yeah.
Yeah, and you gotta, the balance of slab. I mean, I could talk about slab climbing. Technically, it is the hardest style, especially competition slab climbing, because the lines are so thin.
Yes.
Where even between like your own, like I feel uncomfortable. Oh, I'm not going to do the boulder, but at least I understand how this move works now.
Yep.
And you can feel super comfortable in a very small space.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. There's lots of holds you can readjust, and you're like, oh, I'm comfortable. I'm getting more comfortable. But slab is like, this is horrifying, and then I'm like better than I was, but I'm far from being comfortable.
Yeah.
And the commitment level is always there. A little bit. This boulder may be a little bit easier if you're taller. Just reach like hand to hand wise.
Yeah, it definitely like a little bit closer for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, to kind of bridge that gap. Yeah.
But then as you're taller, as soon as you start to tip back, you're farther away from your feet. Like it's balanced still.
It is still balanced, yeah. Because on a wall like that, the taller you are, the more likely you are gonna pop off.
Yeah.
As well, so.
Your head's a long way from your toes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome, getting that. Just trying to see how far along, like how much room they can gain on that crescent to get over here to this little jib. Oh, look at that. Look at that right hand. A little wiggle. Just sometimes that's all you need. Look at that. That left-hand fingertip is the difference to allow the foot shuffle.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive work from Dawson.
Nice, Denise. Come on, Dawson. Very
To
good.
go fully no hands right now.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, Chloe.
And even look, that right foot is just like a
Yeah.
half a move away. Chloe getting into
Nice, Chloe. Allez, you got Chloe.
the open press.
Very
Ooh,
close.
Very close.
Very close.
Footholds don't look super good. I know it's really hard to see on screens at home. Dual text feet or not quite on the blue footholds on the red boulder?
Yeah, they're like majority of those holds are no text, and there's little tiny like rice size
Right on the
bits,
middle,
right in the
yeah.
middle of rice size bits of texture that are keeping them on. So.
Yeah, and you could see Chloe tried to get some drive and just nothing, dropped it immediately.
Yeah, yeah.
Dawson, about 20 seconds. I mean, he's got himself the zone. I think I'm surprised to see him back up. Like it's going to take him more than 10 seconds to get sorted out for the move to the finish, but
we'll see.
he's in the zone.
Yeah.
No. Excellent work. Good piece of climbing, good piece of footwork.
Voilà, du Québec, s'il vous plaît, on accueille sur le bloc numéro 1, Marie-André Roy et de l'Ontario, Dylan.
All right. We are going to go Marie-André Roy from Quebec and Dylan Safri from Ontario.
On va découvrir sur le bloc
Out on boulder number 1.
Sophia.
And a quick look at boulder number 3. So all the way over to that barrel feature here at the Bloc shop. And Sophia now right on this shield slab. This has been a showpiece of this gym of all major competitions.
Yes.
Bloc shop opens had a couple of absolute dime slabs on here. Nationals a bunch of years ago, absolute dimes on this. I love. It is proper slab.
Yeah.
and this boulder just looks so difficult.
Yeah, that slab kicks back in about 5 degrees.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do some really fun stuff. Yeah.
Dylan Safri.
Allez, Michel. Come on, you do it. Come on, Michel.
Sort of peeling out the margins of error. Very small.
Nice, Evan. Nice, Evan. Come on.
Marie-André stepping onto boulder number 1. Kind of getting in.
Allez, 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 Evan. Come on, Evan. Come on.
Ooh, Evan Lau getting through the zone there.
Nice, Maddie.
Maddie looking a little bit confused. Dylan back on boulder 1. There's Michel. Trying to find a heel behind there. We see the back of Frank's head. So that's our MC for the event. You can see the effort there.
Allez, Dylan. Come on, D.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Like this kind of boulder just creates those little tableau moments where you're like, oh, let me just thumb press this. Oh, and that's a good save.
Using whatever you can to stay on the wall.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
No T-nuts. You cannot put your finger in the T-nut holes on the wall. You can put your finger in T-nut holes on holds if you so choose, although we now have tools to block those.
Yeah,
it's
typically
getting harder and harder.
Yeah, yeah. We try our best to
Yeah.
make that not happen. Yeah.
And people will still try and crimp the edges of volumes. They'll still, like, everybody's always trying to find the secret that you missed as a root setter. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, we figured out what they didn't see. That's full commitment from Sophia.
Good job. Allez,
It's
stick with it.
Evan Lau swinging around.
Allez, Marie. Yes.
Really nice.
Good job, Michel.
It's a powerful boulder. And no feet coming out of here either. You kind of have to, these sort of gentle heel toe moves, a lot of body tension. Evan, right where he was a moment ago, same result. Flat, 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 those green holds. They're not,
There's not much on them.
not good. Sophia now into this commitment traverse. Yes, every attempt she's slowed it down a
She's
little bit.
learning
Yeah.
the movement. Yeah.
With 30 seconds to go, maybe not enough. But
Especially for a
right away.
slab.
Yeah.
That's a pretty quick attempt.
I mean, this is the kind of boulder you might work for a whole session, and we're
Yeah.
asking them to do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, there we
There
go.
it is.
Just got caught up in the focus. Here we go. Marie-André, 10 seconds to go. Can she generate the power? Not quite. Not quite.
Another last minute attempt here. 2
Yeah,
seconds.
3.
Oh.
She's going to think maybe that's a zone. I think it's probably not.
Probably not. No.
But really, that's a beautiful boulder. We'll see more of that for sure. Men's 4 just looks like a path, like just a journey.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's a really. I'm excited. We're gonna see it soon enough. We're gonna see it soon enough. Don't worry, people, and you're gonna see it a lot. That is a nice looking boulder. What do you like to set more, semifinals or finals? Like if I just like straight up, you're on the spot. What do you prefer to set?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say finals is fun because you're trying to create the show and you're really trying to show off what the athletes can do. Where semis you're trying to like test, and it's like usually like a very like put your head down, grit. It's like it's a hard round, so you can also let the athletes show us their level.
Right.
So I would say finals though, just because you typically get like some very cool looking boulders. Not that these aren't cool looking, but yeah.
Yeah, the difference being, as we see Fernand Baudouin making his way across boulder number 1. And Mathieu Bonneville here in the steep. Here you've got to go 20-6, and if you get into the final with no ties, you let the boulders speak for themselves. So you get to open up the creativity a little bit. You get to push a little. If you get a boulder in a final that doesn't get topped by anyone, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? You get one cool showy boulder. You get like one punch in the face boulder. And you get to have a little more sort of creative leeway.
Yeah.
Brooke White here on the left. On her second try, just coming up a bit short. See, the low feet is the problem there.
Yeah. Had her hands maybe a little mixed around too. Going with the wrong hand, but yeah.
Chloe Earl in boulder 2. Chloe, overall a powerful climber. I would expect her to be able to pull through this.
Yeah.
I would say this is her wheelhouse.
Very close.
Yeah.
Very close.
On the duck bill. I feel that's first thing when I see those holds, I'm like, that looks like
Yeah.
a duck bill.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to call it.
The duck bill.
Janice. Tronic, is she using the zone tag?
It might have looked like that. I can't
feel
say
that-
for sure though.
I thought that was for sure a no, you cannot grab that. We had that at the World Cup in Toronto, I don't know how long ago, that someone stepped on a zone tag,
Okay.
and nobody knew what to do.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah. They don't stick out from the wall that much, but sometimes it's just enough to keep you on. So.
Yep, a little point. Oh, look,
Yeah.
interesting. You see, you saw Fernando get his right toe up, and it looks like it didn't do anything, but it might have shifted just enough to make him comfortable. He could have been exploring.
Yep.
He could have been like, is this the way? Is this not the way? Maybe like sort of just trying to find whatever works. That's better from Brooke. Trust this little left foot now. Oh, interesting. Getting into a left hand first. No, reject it. I mean, it is, when you're climbing on site, you are exploring whether your beta is correct on the fly. But this is interesting. Not using the right side at not using the right side at all, and just getting too far away from that right foot to have it stick. That was spicy.
Yeah.
Janice back up here. Almost per. You can even see, like, people who are falling off slab know they're falling off before you and I do.
Yeah.
They're like, and you're like, why are they giving up? And you can just see they're like, I can't save this.
Yeah, yeah, they can feel it.
Mathieu and the burly start this third boulder. So this is the powerful boulder.
This is the power boulder, and those crimps are not that big. They're quite small.
Just under a minute to go. I think Brooke will have liked that sequence enough to try it again. Fernand not quite getting there. Janice gonna try and run one with 25 seconds to go. Almost. And with 15, oh no, she is gonna, I love it. One more. Why not?
Going for that zone.
Just got to get that zone.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean, Hayden, I love that.
Yeah.
So she could have tried that on attempt one. So careful.
Yeah.
Desperation kicks in.
Yep.
Sometimes your instincts take over past your brain.
Yep.
And your however many years of comp climbing you've been doing make you do something that almost works. And as you walk back to your chair, and this is the mental side of semifinals, of a 5-on-5 off round, is that you now have, in 5 minutes, you've got to shed the disappointment.
Yeah.
And you've got to reset for the next boulder, even though you're like, oh, I could have done that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you competed for a long time.
Yes.
So that in those 5 minutes, did you always have a plan of like, I'm going to be mad for a minute and then I'm going to focus for 4, or was it just, it was new every time?
Yeah, no, definitely got a routine where I I took that 5 minutes to really try to just let go. It's really important to let go of what happened because that's in the past, and just got to look forward to what's coming up next. And there's still a chance. You still got time.
Yeah, nothing in the rearview mirror at all. And even when you sort of miss 2 boulders, you don't know. And Sean McCall said something to me a long time ago at a comp that I loved. And it's going to sound like ego, but when you're winning World Cups, it's not.
Yeah.
And he, at a Canadian Nationals, I watched him on a semifinal boulder try it once and sit down for 4 minutes. And I asked him after, and he's like, if I can't do that move, nobody here is doing that move. Or maybe one.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. I was like, the confidence to know what might happen in the rest of the round.
Yeah.
It was like, why burn the energy if one other person can do that move? And I was like, ooh, I love that.
That's experience there. Yeah.
Marie-André on the left, Dylan Safri making that. I love that little 1-2-3.
Yeah. Very efficient there.
As designed?
As designed, yeah. There was a little bit of a break there earlier, but I think it rewards you if you do it correctly. It's a little easier.
Yeah, it's less sapping.
Yeah.
Dylan trying to find. Yeah. Wow, the top. I'm excited to see the top of that boulder. That just looks brutal. Now we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's so hard, especially when you're sitting with a root setter, or a lot of times before a round, I'll go through and look at all the boulders with a root setter. It's so hard to not give away. Like, I want to tell you how I think this boulder should be done, but we're going to let, if we get down to, like, if Lucas can't do it, we'll tell you how it's supposed to be done, basically. We're going to let the climbers show us how to do the moves that we haven't seen done yet, even though I'm, like, itching to get into it with you. I really want, let's let it play out. All good. Elliott on boulder 4. Winding that up. And Antoine Caron here. Athletes with names on their jerseys are my favorite. I wish all the federations decided that names on jerseys was the way to go.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Michelle here on the slab. You see Sophia just to the left on the women's 4th boulder. Humorously, completely not relevant to climbing, but years and years ago I used to play competitive ultimate, and we played in the U.S. National Series, and the rules were that you had to have a number on the back of your jersey so you could be identified, and we were a bit disruptive, our Calgary men's team, so our white jerseys had white numbers, and our black jerseys had black numbers.
Oh. So
if the sunlight was hitting it just right, you could tell there was a number on it, but they were pissed at us.
I bet,
yeah. They're like, I'm following your rules.
Yeah. It's not how you want me to.
And then once I started commentating, I was like, hey, yeah, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, help us out over here. Oh, nice. Marie-André swinging around. Dylan again back up into the green. Pinches. Look at this. Marie-André Roy getting possession of the duck bill into this sort of half-blocked crimp. So far away.
Very far.
All right, Elliott Robert now. It's a perfect example of a hold that doesn't have to be that big, but modern hold design has decided that they want holds to be that big.
Yeah.
That thing is massive.
Yeah. You only use this part.
Yeah, just this bottom right-hand corner is all you need.
Yeah.
Antoine Caron with 20 seconds to go. People are really excited to do this slab with no time on the clock. Michelle also.
9 seconds.
That is such a hard foot swap to do.
Very
Evan Lau gonna run out of clock. So just like that, we're into the middle. There's a climber on every boulder. Boom. Now is the perfect time. Beta Breakers is putting this live stream on for us. Definitely hit up that channel. They do lots of cool stuff in the climbing community. Came up here from New York to help us put this thing on this weekend. They do lots of comps in the US and also some really cool debriefs, so post-comp debriefs on Breaking the Beta. We'll give them a follow and give them a thanks for helping us put a live stream on Canadian Nationals this year. Chloe now looking at the slab. And Brooke White on boulder number 2, just getting that. Just got to find the right amount of oomph.
It's a very committing intro to that boulder.
Yeah.
It's going to get you off the ground, and then you're kind of in it after that.
Yeah, there's no like breathing room in there.
No, no.
So how much thought, as we watch Riley Doherty here, and ooh, Dawson Shepard getting up through that very quickly. How much are you considering which boulders are in which order? Is it driven by the shape of the gym? Or because you kind of have to go right to left or left to right. But you put thought into what boulders they're getting kind of in what order. Yes?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so for this round, we kind of have to have it right to left, and we kind of set the level that we want on each boulder kind of around that, just because the right to left is fixed. But in other rounds, like finals, we have full control, so we really do think about which boulders go first and really try to put certain angles at certain times and all that. So.
And because you're testing climbers' ability to adapt and overcome basically the whole time. And a long time ago, I said to my friend Tonde, who's a legendary route setter, we were just having a casual conversation. I was like, when did we stop making it climbers versus route setters? And he was like, it never was, but people always thought of it as, oh, the climbers are trying to beat the route setters. But what's happening is that the setters are really they're just creating the playground. You need people to fall off.
Yep.
You need people to not be successful, but you get to test them on multiple different ways. So sometimes Brooke gets maybe feet first here, trying to make it interesting. Okay. I mean, less powerful than the way Chloe did it with the huge cross through.
Yep.
If she can kind of that crimp matches gnarly. She is making it work.
Not using that hidden jib either.
Yeah. Trying
Maybe
to
an
find
E-bar?
ace scum.
Oh, wow.
My hips hurt just looking at that.
Yeah.
Like that's an inside out
Yeah.
like hip movement. But what it really comes down to is that you need people to fall because that's part of the game. But you want people to do the movement because that's also part of the game.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, no, it's our job is just to separate the field. Who gets what? That's up to them.
That's up to them.
Yeah.
You just sort of put them out there and be like, look, we set the boulders.
Yeah.
Just they have a job, you have a job. Sometimes those jobs are complementary.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little less complementary. And you must have some regret boulders in your life where you set the boulder and you're like, I really want someone to do this boulder, and no one does it, and the regret is that like the crowd didn't get to see the movement get done.
Yeah. Yeah, typically that's it. It's usually in a round, we like to have, like, if the 4 boulder round, 3 boulders that are like, okay, we're like pretty solid about these, like someone's gonna do something. But there's usually a 4th one that's the risk, and that's usually like the showy one, or like, it brings something really cool to the round, but we don't know if they have it, and it's usually worth taking the risk, but sometimes it doesn't pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, when you come in and you look at the boulders, you're like, that boulder, I cannot wait to see how that thing gets climbed. Or there might be 4 or 5 different ways to solve it, and you're just excited to see what that difference is going to be. Look at this now. Almost. Dawson Shepard, I know that feeling. He might think that with less than 40 seconds, that was his shot to get that boulder. Chloe examining the slab move. Brooke is gonna continue, and this is when it works, you go back to it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the right thing to do, you're like, that's your safety spot.
Yeah.
Have you ever think back to when you competed? Have you been like doing a problem, be like, I know this isn't right, but I'm doing it anyway?
Yeah, definitely. Happens more often like after the fact, even like in that 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that wasn't the right way to do it, but I gotta let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to let it go
Yeah,
every time.
yeah.
You have to let it go.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, and you can get this tunnel vision. And anybody who's competed has been there. Anybody who's watched enough competitions has watched a climber in tunnel vision, and you just they're screaming at your TV. You're like, left foot higher, just left foot, move your left foot.
Yeah.
And in the moment, you just can't see it.
Yeah.
All right, Sophie King. is going to brush the men's boulder. Also classic. I love it. And you see Cedar Henry staring at boulder number 2. The 5-minute starts, for people who are not necessarily familiar with a semifinal round, the 5-minute starts immediately. So you see them come running out from, sometimes there's a 10-second grace period, but when you see like Cedar here examining the boulder, the clock is running. The clock doesn't start when you pull on the boulder. So you're going to burn, in this case, almost everyone is burned 1 minute looking at the boulder. And now your kind of clock to send is changing.
Yes.
And then, of course, because why not, the order has changed. That is definitely Sam Tikuvara on boulder 1, not Ben Chapman. And well, figure that out.
Come on, Sam. Allez.
Ooh, look at this, Evan Lau. Making quick work of the beginning. Whew.
Oh,
So
yeah.
close. Next time.
That's good stuff.
Yes, Cedar. Allez,
Going, that is the maybe the more approved cross through.
Allez, Sophie. Come on.
Michelle going feet first. And Marie-André, it's not quite enough.
Not quite.
So the 3 bears problem. Too far, not far enough. Too far, not far enough.
Yeah.
There is a just right
There
solution.
is. And it's a very small, just right solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you can feel like you're almost doing it right, and then you're like, it's got to be it. What do I need to change? And we talk about it a lot in coaching as well, is that the adjustments that you have to make on boulders are not like earth-shattering. They're not like fundamental differences in how you climb a boulder. They are a little shift, a little hike of the hips, a little adjustment of the shoulders, and that's what separates the truly top-end competitive climbers.
Yeah, being able to know those very, very small shifts and recognize them when they're in that position.
Yeah, and recognize what's required and not be like, I'm doing it right, but I could be doing it more right.
Yeah,
See Sam. Dylan Safri. Look at that. Good stick. Footless to the zone. Yeah, that is a man who is tired and still has 1 boulder to go. Marie-André not quite finding it.
Come on, man. You got time. Allez, Evan.
Antoine Caron.
Come on. Let's go, Michel. Allez.
About 45 seconds to go. We're getting just into the middle of the field now. 9th place qualifiers, so kind of we should start seeing a little more progression, I would think now. The top half of the field is pretty strong on both sides. Sam Tikuvara stood on a lot of podiums in his climbing career.
yeah.
Here we go now. Marie-André trying to decide if she wants to lean or swap. You can see the indecision.
Yeah.
Ooh, almost. Antoine almost. And that's time. My goodness, people are getting close. I'm gonna give you another one of those impossible questions. Would you rather not be able to start a boulder or drop the top?
Oh,
like sitting back in your 5-minute chair, would you rather have been like, I can't believe I couldn't do that, or I can't believe I fell off the last move?
I think start the boulder. Save the energy.
Yeah, same. I'm same. I'm like, wow, I'd rather be like a little bit embarrassed that I couldn't figure out the start of the boulder than like I really should have done that and didn't.
Yeah. I like to think mentally I could recover from it, so I'll go with that one.
Same.
Yeah.
Like in the moment it's hard. You're like, a lot of people are watching me not be able to leave the ground right now, but I'm gonna have to get past it.
Yeah.
We joked there was a comp series in the U.S. a long time ago called the PCA, the Professional Climbers Association.
Okay.
And we went down and competed in those, and we're like sort of on the cusp of being able to like make it into the semifinal round kind of ability. Yeah. And then was like, well, what if you made a final? Like that's a nightmare, right? You're like, because it was a larger field. You're like, the huge room. Like the top end is like Chris Sharma, right? So and you're like coming out first, and you're like, I'm just gonna not be able to start every boulder one after another. You're like, why? So you were like, I don't actually want to make the final.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that position. Dawson Shepard trying to use the no-tex on that big, I don't know, is that a Death Star? It's got to have a nickname.
Like the big bubble, the ball, something like that.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Brooke White moving carefully. The slow step through. Almost. So those, we'll get back to it. They're scoops, right? They're not bulges on the women's slab. Yeah. They're scooped out, not protruding.
Yeah, so they're very concave, and you have to figure out where in the concave you have to step on that hole.
Okay, now is Ben Chapman. So Ben Chapman and Sam switch spots. So I'm just going to make sure we update as we go. Kira Stewart, not quite, but Ben Chapman, most useful progress we've seen on this boulder to date. Brooke White establishing the zone. First person to get the zone. And now the top of this boulder is no joke either. Hayden, what
there's a lot going on.
What do we do now?
It's not over yet.
Yeah, it's not over.
You'll see there's that little tiny purple foothold on the right side of that volume
just right
stack.
here.
Yeah,
Okay, yes. I thought that was a trick of the light.
Yeah.
So you gotta press over. Brooke White on the cusp of it. One. Find that.
Oh.
2.5 minutes. As we were just talking about dropping tops.
Yeah.
We might have called that into being. This is going to be your first chance to curse somebody in the commentary booth. It will happen.
Oh, no.
It will happen. You'll say something like, for sure they have this.
Oh, my God.
So just go with it.
Okay.
Yeah. That was maybe my fault for Brooke. I was pretty sure with one hand on the top she was going to close that out.
Yeah.
Dawson Shepard squeezing. Couple ways to finish this boulder, I guess. We saw Evan go right to the finish.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so shouldery. Brooke now just about a minute and change. God, the time goes so fast. And now you're a little bit nervous when you think you've got a top, so you got to control that nervous energy, right? Slab is about slowing down.
Yeah.
So as we were saying, it's hard to tell maybe, but those are scoops, they don't protrude, they go inward, which is not necessarily easier or harder, just a distinction worth noting.
No.
Ben Chapman now staring at the last move, maybe rushed it.
Well, you'll notice that finish hold has 2 pockets in it for each for one finger.
Oh, that's what, it's not just a mischalked crimp, it's a little bidois.
Yeah.
A little 2-finger pocket. I love that.
So very precise.
Snake bite?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've seen that in a comp boulder round. That's like 1995. Who found that hold?
That one, I think actually they brought it up in a World Cup in the last season where it was similar, where they had to jump to it at the end.
Yeah.
And it's quite mean.
It's very mean.
Yeah, there's no room for error.
Dawson Shepard trying. I mean, there's got to be 3 or 4 different ways to do the finish. Is that part of the design of that 4th boulder is to make them decide?
there's definitely a more efficient way, but to find that it's very complex. So yeah, we'll see if someone can be very
Less complex.
less complex.
So we almost had a top of the slab. And still the men's one is turning away everybody who's arriving at it. Women's as well. Tops are expensive, and that's what we expect in the semifinal round. You can climb in a semi and get 4 zones, and that is an absolutely satisfactory job that you've done.
Yeah.
That will happen. I've seen World Cups where you get out of the semi with 1 top 4 zones.
Yeah.
So don't be discouraged at home. We are going to see some tops, but we're not going to see. I mean, I'm excited to see if a couple of the top end climbers can do all 4. We're not going to see 4 flashes for sure. I'm going to put that down on the table. $20 right now. We're not going to see 4 flashes, but I think we'll see all the boulders get topped. Now Dylan Shintani. So there's been a bit of a shuffle here that I'm not sure what happened on the men's side. The order is not what we think it is. But we're going to see what happens.
Yes. Come on. Good job, Sophie. Allez. Yes, Sophie.
Look at this, just sort of working our way through the complexity of Boulder 2. Sophie King, ooh, saves it. Saves it again. There we go. Oh my goodness.
That blocker's a little mean up there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
In retrospect, hey?
Yeah.
Too late now.
Yeah.
Too late to do anything about it now.
Yeah.
Dylan Safri getting spread out.
Yes, come on.
Cedar Henry. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't want to climb that boulder, but I'm really enjoying watching that boulder.
Yeah.
Come on, Sam, you got this.
So I guess we should, if you are not a super familiar competition climbing viewer, you see as we get a good look here at Elise, the zone on every boulder. So every boulder has a start and a top, but then in the middle there's a zone hold, and that is part of the scoring. So the main goal is always Sam with enough power to try 3 different options. The goal is always tops in the least number of tries. That's how you're going to win comps. But zones, if you don't get tops, you want to be getting zones. So what we care about is how many tops you get, and then how many zones you get, and then we care about how many tries. So if I get 1 top in 4 zones, and you get 2 tops in 4 zones, you're going to beat me.
Yeah.
But if I get 1 top in 4 zones, and you get 1 top in 3 zones, I'm going to be ahead of you.
Yeah.
So they are super important, especially in a round where tops are expensive, where not a lot of tops are happening. You might be able to get into that final round, or from qualies to semis, by just getting a few more zones. So you'll see climbers who are like getting back on the wall with not a lot of time on the clock, who haven't got a zone yet. That might be just their goal. They're not trying to top the boulder anymore.
Yeah.
They're just trying to score some points.
Yeah, because semis they really count. Yeah.
Yes, Sophie.
Sophie back up into the business here. Oh, what is that? Kind of heel toe cam.
Yep.
That's working. You can't. Yeah, you got to turn around and get out of that. Your knee won't handle it. That's much better. Sticks it first try. Wow, just losing a little bit of tension at the end. Again, a powerful boulder. Got to stay involved.
Yep.
Dylan Shintani not being able to get across. And the women's 4 there is dispelling everybody at the intro. Elise on the right, Sam Tukuvara on the left side, going back to that kind of gets established, finds the heel.
Okay.
Tsikuvara just unable to uncross the finish. That little drop knee without a right foot is interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. So a lot of excitement right at the end of that 5 minutes, but you see Dylan Safri's face there just sort of chewing on his sweater, out of breath. That is a hard round. I mean, you can even see like that. I don't know what he's saying, but I know what he's saying. It's like, yeah, man, that was hard.
That was
but
a hard
he
round.
still got that little smile, like I had a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't want the boulders to be easy.
No.
You don't want to feel like you were given something that you didn't deserve.
No.
Occasionally you get a round where you need to be flashing boulders, and you're like, wow, all the boulders are going to get topped. You got to crush boulders. Yeah, I got 3 tops, but
Yeah.
I like a hard. I'll contradict myself because I've gone on record more than once saying that I also like a round where, hey, guess what? The pressure in this round is that you need to flash the boulders.
Yes.
If it takes you 3 tries, you're out. So I don't mind that because
Yeah.
I think that type of pressure climbing of get it right the first time instead of get it right the last time
Yeah.
is really interesting. How well do you read a boulder? How confident are you in your movement?
Yeah.
But I do love a round where tops are expensive.
Yeah, it's like, it's the difference between like who can do the boulders or who can do the boulders most efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both are valid. Like both of them are part of competition climbing. Riley. All right. Fernand getting through here. Like just the feet aren't where you want them. The hands are all kind of half underclings. It's a nasty little angle over there. Paige Chuck on the left. And Frederick Ho on the right side.
Good job. Come on, Kara.
Paige, an Albertan born and bred and moved to Montreal now for school. So climbing in the province of Quebec, but still officially from Alberta. We're keeping her.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I remember Frederick Ho, watching him climb as a youth. You came through the youth system as well. How much did you notice the jump to at your first senior nationals from your first year climbing on the senior tour? Big difference? No difference? More intimidating?
Stylistically, I think it was pretty similar, but the big thing is just the physicality.
Right.
It's turned way up because you're now in the men's category, no longer the boys category.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just expect the boulders to be harder. Did you expect the boulders to be harder? Were you surprised at your first Open Nationals?
I think I remember I was like told, oh, they're going to be harder. And then you get there, you're like, okay, yeah, we'll see. And then you're like, okay, yeah, they're definitely harder, for sure.
Because you need to be confident as well, right? You can't come in being like, I'm going to get smoked.
Yeah.
You have to come in being like, oh, I'm capable.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're like, woo.
It's a good reality check, yeah.
Yeah, a little rookie season. We don't talk about like rookies in climbing, but your first Open Nationals is
Basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're in ISO maybe with people that you've been looking up to or watching climb for a long time,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my goodness, this is the first Nationals, and I can't remember how long that, Sean McCall hasn't at least been in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the door's kind of open. We've seen a lot of young climbers doing well in Nationals over the last few years, but there's always been a few, the veterans have been around. The veterans now are much younger than they used to be.
Yes.
And again, a few people have started to retire. Alana Yip retired at the end of this year.
Yes, she did, yeah.
But I'm always excited to see young guns climbing hard, watching people come in and surprise. Fernand trusting that left foot like I would not.
No texture there, yeah.
No texture. B. White on boulder number 4, kind of going foot first. Is this avoiding the physicality of that boulder, or is that smart movement?
It is avoiding, and we tried really hard to make sure that they can't do that.
Right.
So, but you never know. But yeah, it could be because she's not the only one. Quite a few of the athletes have been trying
Yes.
that, and I don't know if that's the best use of their time. But,
Yeah.
But we'll see. I could be betting my time.
Look at this tiny toe hook from Freddie Ho getting this balance point. Can he? That's a long way to unwind from.
Yeah. I
Maybe.
think he's found the.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Delicate foot swap. You can see the concentration. The no hand swap. Don't. Oh my goodness. Paige is going to overtake him on this boulder. She's going to start later and finish sooner.
Yeah.
Paige, Chuck into, she has time, about 10 seconds. Gotta find some propulsion here. Oh. Wow. We've seen a couple of the women get right there.
Yeah.
Right on the cusp of that boulder. Woo! And it's pretty good, right? The last crimp.
It's not bad. Yeah. It's not a jug, but it's pretty good.
And it's tipping kind of back in the favored direction.
Yes. Yeah. There's a little bit of bite to it in the back there. So. Yeah.
All right, we're about halfway through the round, just like that. We're into our, who's coming out now? Sabrina. Oh yeah, we're 13th, so we are 7 from the top. So now we're in the mix of it. We've seen a lot of good climbing to this point, but we have not seen a lot of success. And they don't always have to go hand in hand. You can have a lot of good rock climbing without people topping boulders. Hugo Dorval on the right and Sabrina Théerhead on the left. Elise Villeneuve, who's probably going to be mad at me for saying it, but the daughter of an absolutely legendary fixture on the Canadian climbing scene, Simon Villeneuve. And you know that you, like as a climber, you maybe hope your kids become climbers and then maybe they're good at it. Both of his kids are quite good at it. At least making her semifinal here. Hugo staying tall. Not quite. Dylan almost. Sabrina. Man, that. Just watching that right foot slide, you know she's pushing out, but also if you push down a shade too much, you're going to blow out of that foothold. Sophie King being foot swappy. Antoine Caron working through the footless undercling press, which is just, it's mean. Hey, it's cruel as for the last boulder to go biceps.
Tax the biceps a little bit on the end there.
At the end, for no reason, right? You're just going to make the rest of my evening more miserable.
Yeah, that was in the plan. Tax the biceps just because.
Just because.
Just because.
Good job. Sophie does the very slow and steady approach. 2 foot matches. Now you got to control that breathing a little bit. Top of this volume, although it looks flat on your screen, is not. They're diamond shaped.
Sophie's known for being quite good at her slab skills. So. Let's see.
Gotta stand that right leg up. Yeah, relying a bit too much on the right hand, I think, for safety. You see, you can't extend past as long as your arms are. That right leg had so much room to push still.
Yes.
Hugo and Sabrina in the business. Just getting that careful left foot. There we go, looking good here. This is where we saw Brooke at when that right foot gave out. Sabrina, first top of women's boulder #1. Excellent work. Excellent composure on the top of that boulder to not rush the last move.
Yes.
Sam staring at his fingers. Sophie with a minute, lots of time really. Let's see what Sam's been doing on boulder 3. I see a boulder like this and I think Seb Lazur immediately.
Yeah.
crimpy campus moves. Oh, very close. Will he try that again with one boulder to go? We'll see. Dylan Shintani. Oh, you see he's trying to get under maybe for that match.
Yes. Yeah.
20 seconds. So Wolfie now short on time. 15. She might have a quick look at the clock or know where we're at.
She knows that too, yeah.
Yeah. Crimping the space between the volumes. Got to go. 5 seconds. 3, 2. That is time. The buzzer. She would have topped that. I mean, that's she heard the buzzer.
She heard the buzzer.
So close to getting that.
Yeah.
My goodness. Paige and Freddie Ho out here on their second boulders. A quick brush. The start of this men's second boulder, I grabbed the left-hand start hold last night. It's awful. And the feet are not good. The crimp is fantastic.
Yeah.
The crimp's great. Full marks.
1 of 4.
But yeah, that position, I mean, it looks elementary. It's compression, put your feet on, but the left hand is, it's really not good.
Yeah.
I like that both these boulders sort of almost start the similar way. They both have a little bit of commitment, and you got to leave your feet.
Yes.
Do you ever design a boulder aesthetically and then try and force it into the difficulty you're looking for? Like, do you get a vision in your mind and be like, I really want this to look like this, and then let me see if I can make it the right boulder? Or do you always start with, oh my goodness, Paige showing you that extra power, swinging around and recovering, finding a tiny knee bar? Yes. Is she gonna, okay. No problems, casual. Yeah. Just taking that second to recompose. Decision making on the fly is fun to watch. You can almost see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
So she's gonna low feet. Yeah, there's not enough. There's nothing to drive from under there.
No, it's just the volume. So.
Kira Stewart across confidently. I'm not going to let you off the hook. We are going to come back to this question.
Okay.
We got time still to talk about it. We got time.
Yeah.
So does it ever happen? Are you like, oh, I have a visual aesthetically that I want to see on the wall, and then I'm going to try and force it into the space that I need it to be for this comp?
I always like to try to blend it, so then I'll have, okay, I have a visual idea, but I also have a movement I really want to push. I typically focus on the movement a little bit more, but sometimes, occasionally, I'll be okay, 50-50, and I'll try to really incorporate both. But yeah, I would say movement first for sure.
Movement first.
Yeah.
And you ever kind of get stuck being like, I really wish it was this hold, but I can't find a hold of this shape that works. It's going to have to be aesthetically different.
Yes, yeah. Sometimes that means taking a hold from a completely different color.
Right.
But yeah, that does happen occasionally for sure.
Yeah. Like, it would be nice if the boudoir on the first boulder at the finish was black, but if it doesn't exist and you still want the snake eyes finish, then that's what you got to get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leo Santoprete. And Riley Doherty going feet first. Yeah, you see climbers all the time reject the movement that they have to do in favor of what they want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 1-2-3, right? Like, you're paddling through there. That's the safety.
Yep.
But you have to commit to the paddle, and it's sort of what the boulder is demanding and what you're comfortable doing. When they diverge, that's when you get people who look like they don't know what they're doing, and they do. They're just not in the space to make the commitment that the boulder's asking.
Yeah, and then sometimes too, because now, there's been about 4 or 5 that have.
What what can Freddie can't get the heel in. Like even here, you saw Paige got comfortably into that double undercling.
Yeah.
But then wanted her feet low because that's sort of the move is drive low, but you have to get that uncomfortable high foot.
Yes.
In order to make it work. And
her
here, I mean, it's right there,
Yeah.
but so is the toe hook. But what's
Yes.
the exit from the toe hook? I'll figure it out when I get there.
Which there might not be an option for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You kind of climb yourself into a corner, and we've seen it on the slab here on the men's too. You're like, oh, let me just get over. Look at my right hand way down.
Yeah.
Out of luck. Well, Paige back up into the crimps. 25 seconds to go, so needs to hustle. As long as Kira right into that kind of uncomfortable transition to that right foot. 10 seconds now. Oh my goodness. That is not going to be a top. Kira Stewart right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
A half a degree of body tension. That little open spin she just couldn't control.
Yeah.
Which to me says beautifully designed finish to the boulder, because there was no recovery from imperfect balance.
No.
These are these two boulders back to back are like sort of, they display completely different core functionality, and they're both just really nice boulders. And it's so, if you've been climbing for a long time, you're looking at women's number 4 and you can see the movement, you can see how interesting the complexity of the finish is. If you haven't been climbing a lot, you're looking at those holds going, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So there's that balance between knowing or having a good idea because you've climbed so many boulders in your life, and that sort of the curiosity of how does this unlock itself?
Yeah.
Sabrina and Hugo. Oh, look, perfectly executed. Sometimes you're just happy to have holds to grab. After your first boulder is a slab, you're like, oh, there's grips to grip.
Now I get to pull.
I get to pull on something. Yes, looking good.
Pulling quite well.
Hugo going into that right heel. That's what Sam had, but couldn't escape. Sab here, getting that right foot high, and then trying to decide how to uncoil. Almost with the save. Almost again. Sam just getting ejected for no reason. Sophie going feet first, and Elise into staring at that zone hold. Going step through. Both options are good. I think step through is maybe easier, but you kind of create more tension on the other side. The foot swap is really hard. Yeah. And as a setter, when you're setting boulders and running and tweaking and setting and running and tweaking, are you trying other options and okay with other options? You're like, they could do A or B here and we're fine with it.
Yeah, we definitely tried different beta, and sometimes the other beta works, but if the intended beta is the significantly easier way, then we'll kind of just, roll.
Let it happen, yeah. If people want to make their lives harder, we'll let them.
Can also add to the show sometimes when someone's doing it completely different.
And sometimes people solve the boulder the hard way.
Yeah.
Hugo Dorval right on the cusp. That's not it.
No.
That is not enough. You need to show control of the finish hold, which means you can't be swinging around, you can't be about to leave.
Yeah.
You can just touch it, but he did not touch it long enough. Sabrina back up into this uncross. Maybe I'd like to see her drop the left here, just to get. Ooh. Bears down that crimp. Sabrina. Jeez, that needs to get more weight on the left foot to kind of take some weight off that crimp.
Yeah.
Nathan Smith. Has been consistently performing well over the years, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still,
Always in the mix.
yes, for sure. Still quite young in the field, but
Yeah.
definitely making major strides.
Yeah, the toe hook saves you on that piece of the movement. Oh my goodness, Ugo. Like now just moving so confidently. That is a top. Ugo Daval with our first top. And men's number 2. And Sam, can you get that left foot to stick? Oh, Sam with one hand on the finish. And 20 seconds left, I don't think is going to be enough. Elise almost hanging on to that zone, but not quite. Do you have favorites when you set rounds? You're like, oh my God, this is my favorite child, or do you love them all equally?
Like athletes or like
No, boulders.
boulders. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I was like,
no,
I was
athletes.
Like, I was like, no, I definitely don't favor athletes. But is this a test?
Well
No.
spotted, yeah. You saw the trap I laid for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I set boulder one specifically for Nathan to climb.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, do you have favorite boulders? Out of a run, you're like, oh heck yeah, that's my favorite boulder.
Yeah, I think especially if like what it came to be came in like a very unique way, like maybe like the crew, it was like collaborative across like multiple crew members. I find those boulders the best because it's not just one person really doing it; it's the whole crew had a take on it. So,
Right.
Everyone
had a little bit of input somewhere. You're like, yeah, that was my foothold. That was my decision that changed the movement.
Yeah, the backstory to the boulder kind of
Nice.
gives me
Which is we got Max Terrien on the right and Molly Dreyer on the left. I once pitched the idea of live streaming the setting of finals, like putting the boulders up on the wall after semis before finals and watching the route setting interaction, or going back to in the middle of the week.
Yeah,
because the teamwork, as we see Ben Chapman 300 things back to Max, the teamwork aspect and people sort of agreeing and disagreeing and moving a foothold up an inch and down an inch and right an inch and then swapping it out and putting it back its original. Like, to me, that's fascinating. And then watching, because you see how the backstories come to be, and you really are you're a team, you're a crew, and you get into the thick of it over a week, and you really have to trust each other, because I mean, you've chiefed before, and you have to be ready to have somebody disagree with you and have them be right. But you have to then commit and put their decision on the wall. Leo, can he keep that heel? Comes into that kind of closer compression, but loses the heel. You have to have the confidence to say, let's go with your idea. And then you just sit back.
Yeah, and it really is a team effort too, because everybody's giving input, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and we come together as a team.
And I love that part of it, because it's the same on the climber side, is that even though it's obviously a highly competitive sport, when we get to the finals and you see them as they go through their preview, they're sharing ideas about how to do the boulders. So you have that, the route setting crew works together, and then the climbers sort of work together. And overall, what we're all trying to do is put really cool boulders on the wall and then climb them, so that you at home and everyone here in the gym gets to have a good time watching us select our national champions. Because we're also doing a job. We're selecting national champions. We're deciding who's going to get invited to the team trials, essentially, the camp, to pick our World Cup team for the upcoming season. So this is not just sort of a comp because, hey, let's just have a nationals because we want to crown a national champion. This is how we pick our national team. And in the last decade, we've gone from having 1 or 2 athletes on the World Cup to having full teams across a World Cup season.
And that's why we I was saying earlier that we take risks on some boulders, but we can't take too many risks. 'Cause if you take too many and then you get a weird finals and the wrong people winning, then it can mess up our whole World Cup season. Because a lot of points come from these events.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's a combination of events that gets you kind of to the national team selection. And you will see a lot of climbers not here today. Leo getting back up into this and kind of, you see him put the heel in and throw it out right away. It's uncomfortable, but it's so far what's been working. There is the Pan American Championships going on right now, so our current national team members are down there. They are earning points nationally for that. So if you are on the national team, a handful of climbers essentially have a pass. They don't need to come to the national championships, which I know is a little bit controversial because people at home want to see the best climbers in the country climbing at the national championships. But what we're focused on is the World Cup season. So the goal is to have the strongest possible team of the World Cup season and high-profile international events and keeping people in their training plan. I mean, Alana Yip skipped nationals a couple years ago because the timing wasn't right for her to be climbing hard 4 months out from the start of the bouldering season. So the top end are busy at the Pan Ams, and you should check those results. They're doing very well. But what we got here is, a bunch of people who are capable of making the national team, and some who have already in the past, but just are at this event because they definitely need to be getting these points. Paige, not quite. I think I'm a bit surprised. Paige has always been a good slab climber. Max not being able to solve that either. And Paige, I don't think she got the zone on that. Definitely go back and check the results if you want to be sure. But I think I would have expected a top on the slab from Paige. I've been wrong before, once or twice. I'll be wrong again. Coming out on boulder number 4 is going to be Dylan, and then we've got out here on boulder 1, Kaya Taylor Ainsley and Kinder McNamee, one of the McNamee twins, who have been pretty much a fixture on the senior team scene for quite a few years now. That was fantastic. Sophia was missing the first move, but the thumbs up was, yeah, that's good. I didn't smash my shins too hard. Elise. Kinder wearing his national team jersey. I love that little flex. Like, just remind the young guns in ISO that this is the jersey you want to be wearing. Kaya going, that's better. Sophia putting a lot of faith in that little crimp. If you missed it earlier, that bottom of the two kind of duck bill holds, there is a crimp back there, so she's not just pinching for all she's worth. Elise on the left, Sabrina on the slab. Choosing to, I'm not sure, with a slow step through. Kinder just trying to be a little bit stronger than the start of this boulder. Slab is the first boulder, can be tricky, right? You're warmed up, you're excited, it's national semifinals, you want to come out like, because you need to get your energy, or you obviously have to be like ready to rock climb, and then we throw you a boulder that you have to slow down on.
It's me, for sure. You're psyched, you're ready to pull hard, and this is not really the case.
And you kind of want to come out and do the hard boulders first and do the slab last when you're like, I don't need arm power right now, but I've had time to kind of get through my round. But like, nope, you're going to climb the non-powerful boulder first. And then as soon as you come out and you're pointed to the slab first, you're like, oh great, I end over here on the steep side of the gym.
Yes, yes.
Dylan and Hugo. All right, Hugo in the business. It's a big, powerful move. Maybe trying to be too clever.
I think so, yeah.
Sometimes you got to leave safety. Kinder almost made that work. And Kaya needs to find the footwork. Oh my goodness, that's difficult. It's so hard to generate upward momentum out of that kind of push-pull, like almost layback position.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go. Elise Villeneuve, that's I think the first of the semifinalists we've seen commit to the paddle through.
Yeah.
Kinder. Just under a minute left. So again, you do not have the zone at this point.
Nope.
He's got to get the left hand on the crimp. You can skip a zone.
You can.
If you go straight to the final, you get the zone kind of in passing.
Yep, yep.
But you also have to do the boulder if you're going to skip the zone.
Yes.
And ideally here, they do want to come over and get that lap. I haven't seen in Canada now for a very, very long time.
Yes.
And it's one of those sports where 15 years ago you could be approaching 30 and be in the mix, and now, I mean, like World Cup winners are in their are 20.
Yeah.
And you just the extra power that you need.
Yeah.
It leaves so quickly. The whole game has shifted probably 10 years closer to zero.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, there's that one year where Ethan Hoffman won, and he was
Oh my, yeah.
18, 19?
Yes, yeah.
Quite young.
First year in, basically.
Yeah.
Molly Dreyer. And yeah, it took me a long time over the course of my span of doing Canadian Nationals as a broadcaster to stop kind of talking about the young climbers and just being like, this is the field now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like young is now just the senior field.
Yeah.
That's just the way. But some boulders reward experience. You don't need the extra snap that comes from young muscles. And this is definitely one of those boulders. You see, Frederick, that was like a kind of a laugh.
Yeah.
He was like, what on earth have they done to us over here? Do you ever have, and it must happen all the time, you have climbers come up to you after and ask you about boulders?
Yes.
Like either, why did you do that to me, or what was I supposed to do here?
Yeah, for sure. Which I love that though, because that's where we both learn, because I get to understand what they're thinking in that position as well. So.
I love that. It's so important that you said that, because the route setting is not, I was right and I'm going to hold that till the end. You can be like, I get it now. I see what you saw.
Yeah.
Because you're so familiar with the boulder by the time it's on the wall that you're like, oh, nice. That was so well executed from Max. Let's see if he can keep that spring. Also dropping the heel hook. Yeah. You have to learn. You have to be willing to say, yeah, I liked the boulder, but now I know what you were all thinking when you were in the boulder.
Yeah, yeah.
Because by the time you're in it, you're like, of course they'll see this.
Yeah.
But you've done it 20 times maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, when we're forerunning, the first feeling I get when I tried the boulder, like the first time I tried, is really important. I remember that feeling, because that's how they're going to feel too.
Yeah, not the 20th time.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody who's spent any time projecting boulders absolutely knows, as we see Grace Cam here making the decision to go depth through. When you project a boulder, when you do it, you're like, wow, that was easy.
Yeah.
And you're wrong, right? And as you grow, you know that you're wrong. It's not that it's just the time you did it. It's like I was looking for my keys. Of course I found my keys in the last place I looked, because I get to stop.
Yeah.
The process got easier, but the boulder is as hard as it was when you started trying it.
Yeah.
I like to tell people that you don't get stronger over the course of an hour in a session, but you get a lot smarter.
Yeah, for sure.
And you hear,
Oh, wow.
wow, Leo, full extension. Amazing. Just got a hold of that second last crimp and then made it work. Leo with our first top of men's 3, and Frederick Ho. That was fantastic.
That was good.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was maybe for the cameras.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure he believed that he was going to stick that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Max Tenier trying something new. Molly Dreher. Crimp.
Come on, Molly, come on. Come on, Molly, go.
Also having those low feet. Seven seconds. That is enough for the zone, but not enough for the boulder. Oh my goodness. We are getting into it. The top is right on the cusp now. They're sitting in the chair. Out now is our second place qualifiers out of yesterday's round. You're going to see Sienna Chow and Guy McNamee come out. And here we got Sabrina Taylor on the left and Sophia Bada looking at the slab. Do you think there's regional styles? I mean, you've been, out west for a long time.
Yeah.
When you watch, Quebec climbers or Ottawa climbers, East Coast climbers, are the gyms, do they kind of define styles differently, or do you think we're pretty consistent in Canada in terms of what people are, like how people are setting, and therefore how they're training?
I would say there's a pretty big difference between East and West. It's gotten closer over the years, but yeah, it just even comes down to the gyms that we have. Vancouver is a hub for climbing on the West. It's expensive to own big gyms there, so our gyms are a lot smaller, so we can't build as big of gyms out west.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that can impact the movement.
Sienna Chow making quick work. Ooh, missed it and saved it. Oh my goodness, a chaotic top from Sienna Chow. Oh my god, a lot happened in a very small space up there. She kind of missed and swapped and missed and caught.
Swung out. And,
but made it happen. And then we get Guy McNamee. Going, I love that, using the underside of that volume. Finding that purchase. And then going backwards. That's great. Technically excellent.
Yeah, releasing that toe.
Foothold's decent. Top is accurate. Oh my goodness, you can see the effort. Full extension. And he's not really on the crimp at all.
No, he's using the top instead. Oh.
Hit the bottom, tried to roll up, but the foot stayed. Yes. Kinder McNamee.
Yeah, Kinder. Allez, Kinder, allez.
Does he have this compression squeeze? Goes to the heel. Drops the heel.
Yeah, Kinder, allez.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, come on. Allez.
Kinder. Oh, that's tenuous.
Yeah.
Come on, come on.
Cannot hold the toe release.
Yeah. Keep that toe. Yeah.
You go the valve. Must use the no text to do this, or
it does help a little bit.
okay.
Yeah, some were using a little too much earlier, but
Yeah.
a little bit will help.
You don't want to put all your eggs in that basket, but one or two eggs maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
No time wasted. I love that on a slab boulder where you don't have to waste a lot of power. Just get back on and let the muscle memory kick in.
Yeah.
although he is doing it differently. Kaya Taylor, Mengi. You see him stare at that like he wants to go left hand.
Yeah. He's thinking about it.
He is thinking about it. Oh my goodness. And he went 3-4
Yeah, yeah.
instead of 1-2. Well, maybe it is 3-4. Oh, I don't know what I would do there. I would think I would just look at that and go, that's a sweet boulder.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And sit back down on my butt. Save myself the trouble. Nathan Smith brushing ferociously. And we go with 30 seconds to go. There's no reason not to try the last boulder down to when the buzzer kicks you off. Nothing to save it for. We go getting the first press. Kinder back into the finish. Keeps the toe this time. Wonderful adjustment. Kinder McNamee just slowed down the match that time and focused on the toe.
Yeah.
Really good climbing. Really good stuff. Kind of right at the buzzer, 10 seconds to go. So you're happy about that. Your coach is not.
Yeah.
Your coach is like, come on now.
Come on.
Do that sooner.
Yeah.
You might be able to hear the crowd in the background a little. It's just a meager crowd. Semifinals doesn't draw a lot of people into the gym, but there's enough people here. But Babette Roy, who is a Quebec, Montreal local, has just come out. She is the top women's qualifier. We're drawing a little bit extra attention. We always like to see the climbers from the hometown doing well. They just they become crowd favorites almost immediately before they even start, really.
Yeah.
We got Leo here on the left having a look, and Maxim giving it a brush. I mean, the start of this boulder, as you see, it's just barely slabby. Laura Klinker into the big, powerful cross move. Just not quite able to hold the rotation. Seb Lazur gonna try and climb it like an old school climber.
Yeah.
Stop and control every move. Molly Dreyer getting the zone. And Bab right up into the top of this boulder. This will be flash attempt. So easy to the finish, Hayden. The difference, and that's what you should be looking for, is the difference in control from the climbers earlier in the round who were dead pointing versus Babette's ability to use that high foot for longer and just press into the finish. That was clean. Clean. Molly Dreyer getting basic principles, hips over knees over toes.
Yes, yes.
TJ Foley. TJ also one of the taller men's climber. So he's maybe going to try and look for a little bit of extra reach where he can.
Yep.
And the reward, because we haven't really seen it yet, the reward of flashing a boulder is an extra 2.5 minutes of rest.
Yes.
So now you're instead of compounding effort where you climb down to the wire and your 5 minutes is only, trying to recover, now you've got 7 or 8 minutes to recover in the chair, which is, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot. It's a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. And go a very long way. We've actually had rounds in the past.
Leo. Oh, that's as good as we've seen in control here.
See it?
Don't rush it, Leo.
Oh.
No, that left foot, and I know people aren't going to be able to see. We'll get back to it, but that left foot, you see him kind of put his foot on but didn't believe it. Laura now Going back low, Molly getting into the finish. See that little shake in the right foot. She doesn't trust it. 1.5 minutes, enough time. Enough time. Seb Lazur. Is he? He's not. You can tell by the way he's starting the boulder. He's not committed to the 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
To the paddle through. He's going to try and hold the opening tension.
Still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, piecing it together. Just kind of staring at it the whole time. It is. Max Terrier in the campus. We cannot overstate how difficult it is to climb on site at boulders that are generally at or beyond your limit.
Yeah.
You're feeling it out, you're making adjustments, you're making decisions between tries. In the middle of a try, you're like, maybe I won't use that left foot this time.
Yeah.
So it's mentally taxing as well as physically taxing. And then we make you climb in like 5 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
And we bring you back and make you climb finals.
Let's go, Leo. Come on, Leo.
Molly on the step through.
Nice, Molly. Good job, Molly.
Okay. Needs to just gain a little bit of composure. Leo, that left foot, it's bad. It's really bad. You can see him not believe it,
Yeah.
but
There it is. Oh.
no. Every time you see a climber, there's telltale things that, I mean, I look for, I know you look for.
Yeah.
Anybody that puts their foot down and then sort of picks it up right away,
Yeah.
they don't believe it's doing its job or
Yeah.
they're using it properly.
Yeah. It's, leave it there and just let it stick.
Put it down, and it's counterintuitive, but you have to put more pressure on a foothold you don't trust. Because if you go light, you don't have enough, you're not creating the friction. And
Yeah.
you need to create the friction. Same with slab, people are like, oh, I need to be on my toes because it's delicate. Like, you need to relax.
Yeah.
Put lots of rubber on it, sit down, and it's those little subtle, the person that trusts that left foot will finish the fourth boulder. And
For
Leo,
sure.
I mean, beautiful climbing to get there.
Yeah.
Pieced it together perfectly, and then it comes down to that last position.
Which can be a lot to ask for after all that climbing that you've done already. Yeah.
And you're also mentally tired from 3 boulders.
Yep.
Like, you're tired of thinking about what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. The fatigue really sets in by the fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I love you sometimes you get a power boulder that's just wildly straightforward, but it's just physically difficult.
Yeah.
And they almost look happier to see that. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, let me just thug this out
Yeah.
and see what happens.
No think, just pull.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So good from Guy. That's the World Cup experience. I don't think 5 years ago you see Guy commit to a move like that
No,
so quickly.
no, yeah.
Sienna going kind of foot first. Guy high heel right away. Too far to the right, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Sienna Chow. What is it? She got
Scum.
her knee on that?
Yeah,
she
she
does. That's gross
Wow.
but functional. It's crazy you can't see it from the angle. Sienna Chow get a little false drop knee. Yes, wonderful climbing. Wonderful tactics. That was a straight up, like kneel, she put her knee down.
Yeah.
Up. Oh my goodness, wonderful. Lucas Uchida now. Out on the slab. So we have one extra, it looks like one extra due because we did have a technical, so we had a gap in the round. So Lucas is going to climb essentially on his own across the pairings. He's climbed a lot of Squamish slab over the last few years.
Yeah, yeah. As you moved
Is
out
it going to
west.
pay off?
Yeah.
Is it going to pay off? Kaya Taylor into the finish press. Sophia winding that up, but not quite able to put the pull in. Super bunchy from Kaya, but that's where you want to be. He also going, we went low heel.
Yeah,
So
low heel.
2 different ways to do the finish, just depending on where you like to hold your body tension. Good stuff from Guy McNamee. I would encourage you, again, I'll remind you to check in at cec.results.info. You'll find senior nationals and just head to the semi-final. Give that thing a refresh. And I'll just tell you where we're at. Right now, at the top of the field, Hugo Dorval, Leo, Kinder McNamee already. Dylan Safri, Sam Tukuvara, and Dawson Shepard holding on to 6th place, but watching Lucas and Kinder come through the field behind him. And on the women's side, we see Kinder. I think I'm a little surprised he's not sticking that. Sienna Chow, 2 tops. Lucas looking at this commitment, not quite. Sabrina currently in 2nd. Babette, after 1 boulder, is in 3rd. Kaya now with that zone that she just put down here, we're seeing on your screen, sitting in 4th. Molly Dreyer and Elise Villeneuve sitting on the bubble in 6th, but also then watching Babette come through her round.
Yeah.
So it's sitting in 6th place is hard, because while you don't want your friends to fall off boulders, you want them to fall off boulders.
Because that means you get to go to the next round.
You get to go to the big show.
Yeah.
So it is, I've seen climbers before, kind of you see them sitting in the chair like, oh, I want you to do this because I like watching you climb, but if you don't do it, it means that, yeah. So Lucas, 30 seconds, he's going to walk away from the slab. Kinder almost saving that opening. And then Nathan Smith kind of getting a bit stumped by the exit from the zone position. 10 seconds. And we saw that somebody earlier in the round.
I think it's Freddie Ho.
Freddie Ho.
Yeah.
On the last try. What if I just jumped and expanded, which maybe works.
It's that last ditch effort. Yeah.
All right. So nobody on Boulder 1. Only no tops for the men, and only 2 tops, I think, for the women on Boulder number 1. Babette and TJ brushing their boulders. Usually in finals we have a crew to brush for them, but in semis we make them do their own work.
Yep.
And it's part of, you learn from it. I mean, I'm sure you've done this.
Yeah.
You brush a hold to see, like, that you can't quite reach, to see how much bite it has on the brush.
Yep. No, for sure. Yeah.
You're learning a little bit. Every single piece of information you can gain while you're standing on the mat is valuable in a semifinal round.
Yeah, and then sometimes you'll see in finals, even though they have a brusher, they like, no, I want to brush.
Yeah.
I want to use it.
Because I can't touch this hold with my hand, but I can get real close to it with a brush.
Yeah.
Did you see? She caught that wrong, but also
fixed
caught
it right away.
Yeah.
So.
My goodness. She is climbing with power to spare right now. TJ. Maybe just rush that a little bit. Babs looking also like, I don't know where her right foot was. But standing on these holds like they're flat edges is a sign of how comfortable you are in the positions. Yeah. So good from Babette. That's fantastic climbing.
Yep. Executed very well.
Oh, Seb Lazur now. This is going to be big for... That's a little throwback. That's classic Seb to be able to hang on at max extension. He's got such strong fingers.
Yes.
Full extension and be able to almost reel that back in. I feel like
left.
2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think maybe he does that boulder.
Yeah, I think so too.
TJ Foley. A little bit too much yank. And Alora just having a little bit of trouble getting the left to right push That'll do it.
Come on, Molly. Allez, Max.
Molly doing a sort of a different version of feet first. Climbing into the heel, but no. That wall is a lot steeper than it looks on camera. It's like it kind of leans back 20 maybe?
Oh, I would say close to 35, 40. Yeah. It's pretty steep, that wall. Yeah.
Laura just... You got to look at your hands and your feet at the same time on that one. TJ now, minute and change, minute 40. Being a little bit more careful this time. Setting that heel. Got to hold this heel. How good is this right foot? We haven't really talked about it, morely because the balance is super important. It's decent, yeah. It's got a good bite.
It's pretty good, yeah. It's more just about where your shoulders are compared to the rest of your body.
Okay.
So it's good in that one spot, but if you're left or right a little bit, you're peeling off. Yeah.
How many times did that get put on before it was left where it sits now?
It was too many screw holes. Don't tell Fred. Don't tell Fred.
Yeah. Maxim, about a minute, 50 seconds now. Maxim getting up high on the left side, holding this tension. The tops are so huge at this point. Kind of exploded up there where he maybe didn't need to.
Yeah.
Got excited. And sometimes as you're falling off, you drive up anyway.
Yes,
yeah. That's a thing that happens. TJ Foley, 15 seconds. Got to get the tension. Yeah, try and do beta on your last try. That's that. I wonder if I've been doing it wrong up till this point. Just didn't quite have the compression span. Looked good on the opening of the boulder, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Just like, I also love the everybody stop climbing. This is the real like in between when people have like walked away early or flash boulders.
Yeah.
And we just get time to look at the canvas. All right, Kinder over to boulder 4, climbing right beside his brother Guy. Familiar. They often are so close to each other, either 1, 2, 2, 3. They climb next to each other a lot. This is familiar territory.
Yeah.
I have seen them kind of subtly congratulate or kind of boost each other on. It's not a team sport, but how nice is it to have someone in ISO that you trust, that you can kind of get that little like quiet nod to? Does it help? Would you rather be head down by yourself? I'm the only man in the room.
I feel, that's good. I think for me, I'd like to be by myself, but I could see how someone else could really do a lot for them too. Yeah.
Especially someone you trust intrinsically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd love to sit at one of those family dinners afterwards when one's won and one hasn't
won. Oh my
won.
goodness! Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've thought that myself many times.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, who sits in the front seat on the way home?
Yeah.
Kinder with enough control to foot swap there. This is looking very good. Needs to unlock the lat. Oh my goodness.
It's our first stop.
First top of boulder number 4, Kinder McNamee. That is how you close a round out. Lucas basically campusing that move. That little toe hook wasn't doing anything. Making decisions. Don't cross. My goodness. I understand not wanting to leave the best hold that you're grabbing, but that cross, that's got to put him in a bad position.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that he's got power to spare to do the start, and then this has to trust your instincts a little bit.
Yep.
Man, Kinder, that was so clean. What a nice send.
Come on, Sienna, you can do
Sienna
it. Come
Chow.
on. Allez.
Kaya on the left.
Allez, Laura, come on. Come on, Laura.
Is someone going to do that feat first?
See it here.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And then they talk, you see them in groups, like they're in front of us, you're not going to see them so much on camera, but
Yeah.
you see them talking about it, and you see the hands miming,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
what did you do? What did you do? What did you do?
Yeah.
More than one person has been caught going, oh, left hand first.
Yeah.
That's what I needed to do.
Yeah. Hindsight's 20/20.
Yes,
yeah.
it is. Yes, it is.
Come on, Sienna, you
And
can
you're
do it.
learning as route setters. You're watching the semifinal. You're learning even more about what the climbers are capable of doing on this day. And then when you're putting the finals up, you are keeping that into account.
Yes. Yeah, so we're kind of looking for little things that we planted in the round to kind of test for later.
Right.
But yeah, but also at the same time, we have to remember their energy levels.
Yes.
Because we just did this round, and then 5 hours later, they got to do a whole nother round. And they're not going to be as fresh as the next one as they are for this one. So,
Right.
yeah.
But then because they have that preview time, you can dial up some of the complexity because they have time to figure it out before the round starts.
Yes, no, for sure. And they can talk to each other, and it's,
Yeah.
Each round is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, a little bit different strategy.
Yeah, for everybody. Different strategy for the setting team, different strategy for the climbers. Now that with our kind of open flash format for the qualifiers where you can watch people do the boulders,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
that changes things. So
Yeah.
yeah, the evolution of the sport is fun to be a part of for sure. I think you started setting at an interesting time.
Yeah.
There a lot has happened in the last little while.
Yeah, yeah. I started right before pre-pandemic, and then pandemic hit, and the PSO, and then everything's grown, and
Yeah.
really cool to see it grow.
And you're setting, where are you setting out of Are you nomadic or are you setting at a gym?
I'm at the Richmond Oval right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool.
been
Which
there.
is, if you're not familiar, the Oval is our unofficial, official national training center.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the clock is going to run out on Guy. It's the bouldering. It's been a while since I've been out there. I know the bouldering is sort of, it can be moved around. Is it a little bit more fixed now, or is it still just sort of the walls that can be pushed around?
It's been expanded in the last few years, but yeah, it is a fully portable wall, so they can move that anywhere, which is quite nice for events.
Right.
Kind of creating a stage with their massive lead wall as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, the lead wall is really the showpiece of the Oval.
Yeah, that's what you go there for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
All right. Babette Roy on the right on the slam, and a Laura Klinker to the left on the what should be paddle boulder women's number 4. Seb Lazur brushing the mostly flat undercling, a little bit of scoop under there.
A little bit of scoop, but yeah, not that much.
not as much as you would like it to be.
Yeah.
Seb looking around. 1 minute off the clock. Super Cash, she's gonna go. God, that swap makes me nervous.
Yeah.
So clean. Almost makes this move harder.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one of the things we tried. We're like, oh, it's
Doable, but different.
Yep. It's a little trickier, but yeah.
Oh, I like this angle right here. It's a slightly sort of better look at what they're dealing with. Well, look how.
Oh.
I didn't say it. Not my fault.
Yep.
Not my fault.
Yep.
But that's sort of the transition over to the right foot. Super smooth, super strong. TJ and Seb. TJ, you saw him come off that second last hold. So he's got the reach for it for sure. hard to generate power out of a changing angle like that. If you drive too hard, you're like out in the middle of the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't drive hard enough to make the corner.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit of contortion. It's a clever boulder. I like that you got to drive like right to left as
Yeah.
well as around the barrel.
Yeah.
That's TJ. So good. Make no mistakes now. Maybe release the toe. Yeah. Manages to keep the heel hook. TJ Foley with a very valuable top of number 3. Laura eyeing up the paddle, but not committing to it. Yeah. 2 minutes and a little bit.
Yeah. That's not easy.
No, that is not easy.
Yes.
The seam is pretty shallow, yeah? You can't get too deep into that?
Oh yeah, they're just kind of stacked together. You get a little bit out of it, but not much.
Yeah, not enough. Perhaps making decisions. Try to get that shake to stop. Yeah. It's hard when that foothold is really bad. You want to get up on your toes, but you can't. Seb Lazur, veteran savvy coming in here. Oh my goodness. Seb Lazur, get that left foot. So close. Oh my goodness. That is fantastic. Oh my goodness. That is a difference maker, I think. Seb Lazur. Really good work. All right, Bab. She doesn't know she doesn't need this, but she just wants to do the boulder. And then just getting a little bit rushed. You know, as soon as you know the clock is running out, she made that, like, rush that move, and then it's nowhere near as clean as it needs to be. That's what you were saying earlier about on the slab when you have to go fast, but you definitely cannot go fast.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a tough spot to be in. Everybody has done either topped or walked away. TJ and Seb doing those boulders. I mean, Seb Lazur, is that the difference? Just give us a quick refresh while we got a minute to breathe. Sienna Chow still at the top of the women's. Let's go have a look at the men's side, as our next 5 minutes is about to come up. Semi-final. Oh my God, the slow refresh.
Yeah.
The Mission Impossible music is playing in my mind right now, and I got nothing. Everybody's we've crashed the results page. Everybody's looking.
The men there. Yeah.
It puts him in 6th for now on the bubble.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, the tops are really showing their value right now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
All right, Guy McNamee on 4, Lucas on 3, and Sienna Chow on 4. No other women climbing. It'll be Sienna and then Babette. You see Guy, this sort of smear traverse. Well executed. I love that. Really strong offside flag. Oh, that toe hook. Guy McNamee is going to just absolutely like a sidewalk. Yeah. That boulder, as we've seen, the beauty of having the best climbers come out last is that you get a vision of how hard the boulders are, because the semifinalists are all very good at rock climbing.
Yes.
And then you get to see that Guy McNamee is very, very good at rock climbing. That was perfect.
Yeah, executing the complex boulder, perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. That was so clean. Lucas is going to get to showcase some power here. I mean, and this is so interesting. So we were talking at the intro, so you might not have caught that Lucas has been essentially out of the comp scene for a few years,
Yeah.
has been climbing exclusively outside and has done V15?
15 for sure.
15 for sure.
Yeah.
So you think V15, you should be able to just like, all these boulders are going to be no problem. Because the boulders not, this men's 3 is not V13, it's not V12,
No.
it's not V11. So why can't he just do the boulder?
Yeah.
Indoor climbing and outdoor climbing, although they are complementary,
Yeah.
the skill set is different.
Yeah. Having a month to do it versus 5 minutes is a big difference.
Is a big difference.
Yeah.
So yes, he absolutely has the crimp strength. He absolutely has the contact strength to grab the sloper.
Yeah.
But it's just fundamentally different movement in some instances.
Yeah.
Often climbing outside, you can find a clever little foot or a smear, and here we've just taken all of that away. You're like,
Yeah.
there's nowhere for your right foot to go.
Yeah.
You got to generate that cross-body tension some other way, and it can take you time. And the fact that he qualified at the top of the field after so much time off should tell you a lot
Yeah.
about his ability to rock climb. And just, I mean, the top is still the difference.
Yeah.
So a couple more, even I think all the zones maybe, we'll see. Sienna Chow. You just, every now and then, you just want to run out and scream at the climbers.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Ali, Ali. Nice, Sienna, Ali. Come on.
Okay. And it's hard watching, of course, to watch somebody do something wrong but get close enough to reinforce it to try again.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's the way. I
Yeah.
almost did it. And you're like, but you didn't. Lucas making the right adjustments, so much cleaner. And then no problem. That heel will be
He needs this stop.
so
Yeah.
easy from there. Just had to unlock that opening section. Lucas Uchida
That'll
displaying the power.
bump him up from 16th to about 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
now. Yeah. He needed that.
Definitely. Woo! All right, Sienna Chow. Committing
Yeah.
to that with 30 seconds on the clock. It isn't the last boulder, so she will give it one more try, but you definitely tired at this point. Yeah, I mean, there's just, from a climber that we know has tons of pull,
Yeah.
no pull left at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're trying a boulder kind of that backwards, although you're not making progress, it's draining.
Yes.
Like hanging on those holds are kind of, they got a lip, but it's not good.
Yeah.
So it's not like she wasn't running, like wasn't using energy trying to go toes first. Holding that position is super draining.
Yeah.
It's
Talking
like
about earlier, Boulder 4, that mental taxation too, where
you're over it almost.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
Why am I still thinking?
Yeah.
And I've had a few. I had somebody that I coached a while back who was a boxer, and I was asking him a bunch of questions because you know that people think that the difference maker is always your fingers, but body blows hurt too.
Yeah.
So having to hold tension earlier in a round just makes you tired overall, like physically tired overall,
Yeah.
versus, oh, people are like, oh, my fingers hurt or my skin hurts or like my right elbow is like I can't pull. But if you've been worked through your core, holding foot tension, holding body tension, that's as bad or worse than being like, oh, my fingers are tired.
Yeah.
So and this round has been dealing body blows
A lot.
across the board. I mean, the opening boulder is body tension.
Yeah.
The second boulder is like swingy tension. The third boulder is careful, scary, like you clench because you don't want to fall.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, here, let's just give you a paddle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just paddle out. Babs immediately, that's World Cup experience.
Yeah.
Is like, this is obviously a paddle. I'm just going to do my job.
Yeah, and that's something we were talking about earlier with East and West.
Yeah.
This is definitely, it's way more common on the East Coast too. So being from Montreal,
Yeah.
definitely.
She's used to it.
Yeah, she's been on these a few times. Yeah.
And it sort of shows up in the commercial set.
Yeah.
Because you've got room to have those kind of boulders, where a smaller gym, the commercial set, you really, I mean, it's you're catering to the paying public versus the non-pay, the sponsored climbers who are there to train.
Yep.
And when in a gym like the size of the Bloc shop, almost always has comp boulders on the comp wall.
Yeah.
And Rose Block saying,
Whoa.
oh my, and she almost did it.
She almost did it.
Which means I think she'll do that again, which is
she's got a smile on her face.
yeah, which is good for us because
Yeah.
we're gonna get to see that again.
Yeah.
TJ, this boulder is going to be slightly harder at the beginning because you're taller. Trying to create that the smear power. TJ, he knows too. He knows that's hard, but he's still got to do it. 2.5 minutes, a lot of time for TJ to get back through there. Babette's going to, against her will, take some rest.
Yeah.
Her coach's voice is in her ear. Take a minute. Take a minute.
Yeah.
That nervous energy. Like once you know you can do a boulder, you just want to jump back on the boulder.
Yeah.
Here we go. Babette. Oh, not quite enough snap. TJ willing those footholds to be better simply by staring at them.
Let's go, TJ. Come on, TJ, stick with it. Come on.
Come on, TJ. Babette swinging back through. Not quite.
Yes, TJ, you got it. Come on, TJ.
TJ, oh, rushed it. Rushed it.
Allez, c'est reparti pour Babette. Let's go. Allez. Yeah.
Almost. So if you are still with us in the semifinal, and I hope you are because you are watching a couple of the strongest climbers in the country, we are going to do our finals. Is going to be tonight at 7 p.m. here on Eastern Time. 7 p.m. Make sure you come back and watch the start. We're going to... Oh, she did it! Oh, she did it! Now just kind of hold it together. Babette Roy looking for a neat just jump. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. That was wonderful. TJ fighting. Now you got to think about the clock, TJ. No chime for another try.
Wow.
So I just saw Babette walk by, so she's not going to give that one more try. The first climber to do the sequence as designed.
Yes. Yeah.
And even skipping a move along the way.
Yes,
That was wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Really, that's what you want to see is people unlocking the sequence. That's showy. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Even the kind of one-hand recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Reeling it in there at the end. Yeah.
I was feeling it's a bit melancholy. The end of the semis means that we're, getting close to the finals. But I always want to see a little bit more. I want to go back and be like, oh, I'd love to see somebody do that boulder or do this boulder because of the excitement of it. But now we got one left. Lucas Uchida is going to close out our semi-final round, and his fate is in his hands, I believe. So let's just a real quick check. Boulder semis. Kinder, Guy, TJ with that zone. Hugo Dorval, Leo Sansoprete. So Lucas is in finals now in 6th place. Of course, he does not know that, which is sort of the beauty of the semis is that you get to watch people who are like, bro, you're in first.
Yeah.
And you don't know, like, what if everybody did all the boulders? So you get to watch Lucas now put hopefully 1 minute of effort for him and hopefully 4 minutes for us.
Yeah, and then considering flashing the qualifiers around, he probably thinks he's behind right now.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. That's a good point. Is he's like, oh my goodness, I was climbing so well yesterday.
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah,
Is it me or is it the boulders?
yeah.
And you know, occasionally when there's a good crowd, you get a little feedback. And people are like, oh, that was a really big cheer.
Yeah.
Maybe no one's done this boulder.
Yeah.
I remember being at a comp years and years ago, and I did a boulder, and I was like, well, I wasn't having a good round, and I was like, oh my goodness, like everyone did this boulder. And I turned around, and there were like people in the crowd, their eyes were like saucers. They were like, I was like, am I the first person to do this boulder?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
from like not doing boulder 1, not doing boulder 2, you're
Yeah.
like, you do boulder 3, you're like, well, everyone did that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people are like, no, bro, no one did that boulder.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you really don't know when you're in the thick of it what you need to do, which is why you just put your head down and do the boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stick of the zone. Try and solve the footwork. There are options here. Just got to hold a little more tension from the feet to the press. And when you have options, you know that he's going to be thinking, should I go to the second last hold first? Should I whip my feet around? How many ways did you guys forerun the finish of this?
There was a few that the different sizes of people had different methods, but a lot of it was using all the holds.
Yeah.
Majority of them though, we did use that second to last hold, and that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
The span going from the third last is quite big.
Yeah. And you're carrying more momentum.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, it's hard to see at home, but those 3 footholds down right of the zone, they're bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're slopey.
Yeah. They're not great. There are little chips on them that we've added, but not much.
Little stacks, but not really good.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you can tell it's not like they're just sort of casually rocking over and standing up.
No.
The men have all been fighting that footwork a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny. We had a little bit of trouble at the end last night, kind of really forcing and dialing in this movement, and then so there's lots of repetition on the top end.
Right.
And one of the setters referred to it as, I was having a great time last night until I had to move the fridge like 5 times. Lift the fridge up 5 times.
Lift the fridge up and put it back on.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
That's how he felt the top of this boulder. Felt
Yeah.
like, yeah.
That's a really good insight. I love that. All right, Lucas gave himself a good rest and enough time, a little security. So 1.5 minutes means that, he's got room to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sometimes see climbers take it down to like 40 seconds, and you think you've given yourself no chance to make a tiny error.
No slips. Yeah.
No slips, no trips. And he's going to take even just a little composure time. And this is experience. You saw Seb kind of the same way, is that you have to take a breath even when you don't want to. You saw Babette do that. Yeah, and running out of that power. And now you start to feel a little bit nervous. Like this is the arc. This is the journey that Lucas is on right now. Is now he's like, oh my God, like why am I not doing this boulder? And then you're tentative, and you can't be tentative. There we go. All right. And then can't close that move out. Yeah, that frustrated shrug is everything. He is going to be shocked to learn that he is in the finals tonight.
He has no clue right now.
No clue. Which is both. It's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Is that we're like.